Welcome back. This video is going to show you how to add, subtract, and multiply polynomials. So let's first take a look at what it's like to add polynomials. When you see an addition sign between two polynomials of any number of terms and any degree, you can actually, more or less, just go ahead and ignore the parentheses. The parentheses are just there to show you that there's two actual polynomials. But in reality, you can actually drop these parentheses out and rewrite it as 3, sorry about that guys, 3x cubed minus 2x minus x minus 7, and then plus x to the third power minus 10 x plus 8. And from here we just have to look for our like terms. So my first two like terms I see are the powers of 3. The next like terms I see are all my x's. And then lastly, I notice that I have two constants. And now it's time to just combine them. Just add them up. Now 3 plus 1 is 4 for our x to the power of 3. Actually, let's get that in black. And then all of our blue, negative 2, negative 1, and negative 10 will be negative 13x. And then negative 7 and 8 is positive 1. And there you go. And that's how you add them together. Let's take a look at a subtraction. Subtraction does work slightly different. In subtraction, for the first polynomial, you are allowed to just kind of drop off those parentheses. But when you look at the second one, you need to realize that this minus sign, he is being applied to not just the 5, but also that negative 1 and that 17. More or less, you need to apply him by actually switching all the signs. In other words, you are kind of like multiplying by negative 1. Okay? So negative 1 times positive 5 is negative 5x cubed. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive x squared. And negative 1 times positive 17 is negative 17. More or less, the signs in front of each term switches. Now it's time to go ahead and look through and look for our like terms. I have a 3x cubed and a 5x cubed. I also have a 8x squared and a 1x squared. Then I also have a negative 5 and a negative 17. So for our red, 3 minus 5 is negative 2x cubed. For our green, 8 plus 1 is 9. And we don't have anything to combine with the minus x, so we just put back minus x. And then negative 5 and negative 17 will be negative 22. And that right there will be our subtracted polynomials. Next we have multiplication. For multiplication, it's kind of like doing a bunch of foiling. In this situation, we have 3 binomials. So first we want to just consider taking care of these two right here. And we are going to FOIL. So we have first x squared outside 4x inside negative x and last. Don't forget to combine those two in the middle to make 3x minus 4. Now this is just for that first set, okay? Now we still do have that x plus 3. So in actuality, when I wrote that in between step right here, I do have x plus 3. So I still have to multiply by x plus 3. So at this point I have a little more to keep track of as I FOIL. So first up is my x times x. And that's going to give me x cubed. Next is my x times 3x will give me 3x squared. And next is x times negative 4 is negative 4x. Now it's time to consider the 3. 3 times 4 is negative 12. 3 times 3x is 9x. And 3 times x squared is 3x squared. Let's look and see if I have any like terms that I need to combine. I do. I have a positive 3x squared and another positive 3x squared. I also have a negative 4x and a positive 9x. So let's combine those. First is the x cubed because he's the largest exponent. Next up would be the 3 plus 3 to make 6x squared for the next smallest exponent. Now the blues, plus 5x for negative 4 plus 9 for our power of 1, and followed by the 12. And that's how you multiply 3 binomials. In this last situation, I have 2 trinomials I want to multiply. It's kind of like the last example where we have to multiply one thing to all the things in the other set of parentheses. So first up, let's start by doing our x squared times 2x squared will give me 2x to the 4. Now it's x squared times x will give me x to the third power. And next is x squared times 5 will be 5x squared. Now it's time to take a look at the 2x. So 2x times 2x squared is going to be plus 4x cubed. Then it's 2x times x, which will be 2x squared. And next and last is 2x times 5, which will be 10x. But you see now I have used up the x squared and the 2x, but I still have a negative 2 to multiply by. So I'm going to have to multiply 2, negative 2, and 2x squared is negative 4x squared. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x, and negative 2 times positive 5 is negative 10. So you see, by multiplying each of these, I kind of end up with 3 different sets. I do have like terms all across here that I need to combine. So first thing to look for is our x's power 3's. I have 1, 2, and that's it. Now we're going to look for x power 2's. Here's one with a 5, one with a 2, one with a negative 4, and then last I have my x's with a 10 and negative 2. So I'm going to write our final answer. I have that 2x to the power of 4 that didn't combine with anything. Now the yellows, 1x and 4x will make 5x to the power of 3. Remember, the powers stay with them. Now our purples, 5 plus 2 plus negative 4 will be 5x squared. And now our oranges, 10 and negative 2 is 8x, and then followed by our negative 10. And there you go. That's what you get when you multiply two trinomials. Okay, I hope this covers addition, subtraction, and multiplication. Go ahead and leave comments or bring your questions in the class, and I'll see you then.